All right, y'all, we're going live. Going live. How's everybody doing today on this illustrious Sunday, as we say? The weather's changing.
Doing well.
Yeah, trying to do well, right?
Yeah.
Let me turn this one up. We don't know why this one should be a little up. There you go. There you go. Good, good. Can you hear me pretty well?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, great, great. It's a little different. Oh, I know why. I forgot to turn the main speaker on. Duh. That's the main reason. We could turn it up a little more too. It is on. We just let it turn up as much. There we go. A little more speaker sound or more sound. All right, Anna, you ready? Absolutely. Positively. But we figure I figure, we're gonna do a little recapping. Actually, some of the stuff that we've been doing, Arnold and I, on for lack of a better words, the south end of Austin, which there is a south end, but there's no South Austin, as we all know. Austin is all, yeah, we're all in. As we all know, Austin is Austin, and there's no like Lawndale. They've designated Lawndale to be uh North Lawndale. No, that one's not. We're not doing that one because it's creating feedback. I don't know why. But and just like Garfield, there's a West Garfield, East Garfield, but Austin is Austin, as everybody knows. Right on them?
That's right.
Yeah, there's no north and south. And respectfully so, you really wouldn't want to do that. It's a pretty big community. I remember when I first came to Northwest Austin Council, they said if Austin were to be a city back in 90, 91, 92, 3, it would be the third largest city in the state of Illinois next to Schaumburg. At the time, they said we had what was it, like 260,000 people living in 230,000 people, something like that.
I read one time of 130.
130,000, was it 130? No, it was closer to, it was like 180, if I'm not mistaken. At that time, that was like the highest point. It was almost a quarter of a million.
That's when they had all the multiple units.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Many people lived in the multi-units, which are mostly on the south end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the multi-units. But yeah, it was almost a quarter of a million people in Austin. Now, if you look at the demographics today, it's less than what? 90,000, 80,
Well, each ward, you're only gonna have about
30,000 each, right?
60, about 60,000 or more.
Okay.
Because they configure in 50 wards, and proportionally, each ward have a certain amount. That's how they get their total city population figure.
Mm-hmm.
But Austin, at one time, like I say, when they put all that industrial corridor over there from Lake Street or all the way back to Roosevelt,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, they lost all that, so lost population went just like everything went south.
So when you saying lost the industrial corridor,
Yeah, High Points, Western, Hawthorne Works, along Roosevelt
right?
Road, and now, with the trucking industry, pretty much you drive on Roosevelt now, they prefab them, distribution centers with the trucks,
Mm-hmm.
container trucks, you might say, where they load them up on rail cars now. So no more where actual railroad freight cars have had adjacent tracks right along with them buildings. But what we were saying as far as population, you had to have population to service those industries as far as the workforce. That's where you had a lot of population. That's where it come from.
Well, no, just across Roosevelt, there was GE Hot Point.
Yeah, all that was from big Laramie back to really Central or Austin, you know, give or take.
Central.
Zigzags in, but it was more on.
No, it can't go to Austin because there are homes in there between Central and Austin on the Cicero side. They're all homes.
Well, beginning from Pulaski almost up until you get to Austin, you know, on both sides, right off Roosevelt. It's a lot of industrial corridor.
Oh, right. Not that it's about GE.
Well, no,
GE, I'm like, GE was one big plant over there, wasn't it?
right? I would say Lockwood when you get on the Laramie side, right with that gas, it's a BP, or not a BP, it's a standard station there. And when you looked at pumping station Cicero, and one block west of that, that's where we, you know, a lot of them facilities were
Booming in the day.
Yeah.
And they moved south.
They went.
Yeah, GE High Point moved south. They didn't leave the country. I mean, that would be a little much to. I mean, although we do buy many of our, but I don't think we buy our washing machines and dryers and ovens. I don't think those come from.
That was located in Galesburg, Illinois, where I once lived, employed on the railroad. But the railroad I was from Burlington Northern.
Right.
But nonetheless, Galesburg was known as a major hub for those wash machine dryers. I forgot the brand name, but they build them down there.
Hot Point.
Could have been Hot Point. Whirlpool.
Yeah.
And another. But Galesburg was a major manufacturer for that.
Right.
For being down there.
Well, I mean, things have slightly changed, but much of the manufacturing has moved. It's kind of odd. We started out as a very industrialized area, country, states, what have you. And then things kind of shifted from the cities where the populations were very big to the country areas, to the rural areas where they wanted to pay less money. And in many other cases, people really, or I should say people, but businesses literally moved out of the country. Like, you remember, Unilever, which was Hurley and Curtis. Hurley and Curtis, they literally had, oh man, acres and acres and acres of land where they made all of those products, hair products and soaps and what have you. But they ended up moving, and they were a Swedish conglomerate company. I'll never forget it because we had an organizer that was working on. And cosmetics too, Hurley and Curtis. Yeah, I think they make cosmetics
Makeup
also.
and lipstick. Oh yeah.
But they were owned by a Swedish conglomerate, or they were bought out by a company called I never forget it was called Huhtamäki, and it became Unilever, and then Unilever moved all their products somewhere in, I want to say South America somewhere, something like that. But no, we've become the country of service providers. That's it.
Labor was cheap.
Right. Cheaper labor, but why are we getting all the people to come here if the cheaper labor is there? You know, think about that.
Well, consider unions and right to work. And there wasn't no back in the 70s, unless I don't recall, because I was much younger, of course. I don't remember hearing the language minimum wage. Is any wage. We just wanted to work.
Right.
But
Well, there was a minimum wage, which just meant that this is the least amount you could get paid legally.
well,
Legally.
I would say as a teenager, a young man coming up, when I was working under the model cities programs,
Mhm.
I recall working for a wage of, I think, $1.45 an hour. Of
Mhm.
course, being a teen, But when I started on the railroad, my starting salary was $3.03 an hour for 8 hours.
Mhm.
This is Burlington Northern. So just the evolution from when I started and when I retired in 2011, when I was making per hour,
Right.
big difference.
Can you guys hear Arnold okay?
Yeah, we hear him. I hear him.
How about now? Go ahead, Arnold.
I hear him.
Okay. Can you see him? Oh, you definitely see him. All
I'm gonna be a yes man tonight, Steve-O.
right. There you go. No, it's just you on mute. It might be a little bit better now, but no, the country has been experiencing a change, in our way of doing business, in our what they call gross national product or domestic national product, and it's gone from what we typically would like to say has been industrialization and products, goods and services are now kind of gone down to just service oriented country. I mean, look at the things that we do. Most of the things we do from home. So how can you manufacture, produce a product if everybody's working from home? And one of the biggest jobs that people always talk about now is Uber and Lyft. Those are services. Yeah, you got to have a car, but we don't make the cars like we used to. We do. Ford is going strong. I think GM's going up pretty good. But everything's changing, y'all. That's all I can tell you. It's a evolution.
Well, the president's administration, that is, I'm saying President Biden and Vice President Harris, with the CHIPS Act and then bringing all the manufacturing back to the United States with incentivize them to, create jobs here. And so the numbers trending upward, so we'll just have to wait and see. But it looks optimistic that that's one goal that will be accomplished.
Mm.
I don't think they place a exact number, but before many manufacturers were leaving, and it was given incentives where it was creating what some of these manufacturers offshoring and all that, the way it was done, where they could avoid paying taxes because that was the primary interest, to avoid being taxed, So we just have to wait and see. But sounds promising from what
But
reported.
what are we gonna do? What product are we going to make that's not being made better and cheaper overseas?
Well,
Can't say cell phones.
Well, speaking of chips, since chips is, you might say, is in everything that's manufactured nowadays, technology, cars, refrigerators, TVs, phones. Maybe barcode for marking on products. So, we just have to see.
Well, I think the chips are not to scare anybody, but one of the main reasons the chips are coming back to America is because Taiwan is the biggest producer of chips that we use for all of our products in America. And the threat of China taking Taiwan back is very, very more prevalent, I want to say. And if they take it over, then they have us on lockdown. So to have and what's really strange about that, not the Chinese, but the Taiwanese manufacturer of the chips, they're the ones that's bringing their plant to America.
Well,
Makes sense if you do it good, if you do it well, and you know that you may be taking over. It's better to hedge your bets and put some of this over here and save some of it right there.
where you go where the marketplace is, and right now, coming out of the pandemic, it's been reported that America is in much better shape, industrial countries of the world, you might say, since the pandemic to have came out of, brought inflation down from 9% or higher to almost 2% inflation. So obviously, if you're selling some, exporting or importing, then this would be the country or place to market to because they can afford it. Minus any, of course, strategic or tariffs has been talked about in all this presidential election conversation that's taking place. So obviously, I hope people are listening closely on that. Who's talking tariffs and why and how. So,
Man, tariffs and what do they do with the farmers? Where they give them what's it called?
subsidies.
Subsidies. Yeah, subsidies.
Well, that's been they've always had subsidies.
But you know what I found out about subsidies, especially when it relates to Haiti? The Haitians revolted, but they really didn't revolt to the point of we're taking back our country. They had to pay a reparations to the French government.
Yeah, I just heard something about that the other day.
Yeah, they've been paying. They finally paid it off some
Right.
years ago, not too long ago, but maybe 50 years ago, something like that. They paid it off. But I was listening to that the reparations was one thing, but the U.S. government started subsidizing because Haiti was a big producer of rice, and they say it was pretty good quality rice in abundance, and they could have been a major player in the market, the rice market in the world. But the U.S. started subsidizing our farmers to drop the prices so low, so that the Haitian rice market would have to drop theirs to compete, and then what they would drop it for wasn't worth putting it in the market. So one of the things the U.S. did was created a perpetual sense of not sense, but a country of poverty out of Haiti by doing that. And it's reflective of what happens every time what's going on now in Haiti,
Well, the productivity level in America is great in comparison to some other countries. So manufacturing, you take the school programs with the milk. If they didn't create other creative markets within American market itself for milk, I mean, we see what they're doing milk giveaways, each day. So you just take into account that like World Vision, if you sign up, the truckies come over there and you tell them how many gallons of milk and just give it out. Someone, farmer, then it was reported where they showed them on 60 Minutes dumping milk.
Right.
They're so productive. So
I mean,
there has to be a check and balance,
Yeah, but it also hurts other markets or other. I mean, Haiti is, yeah, they got their freedom. They revolted and bought themselves out of bondage, pretty much. But man, they kind of set themselves in a life of perpetual poor, poverty. Yeah, it's
Well,
it's sad
if
when you
you
think
don't,
about it.
if you don't produce anything, or is the word export metals or, which could be utilized as a form of revenue, how you can get some revenue. I mean, you pretty much don't have no way to pay for anything that you may come up with.
Well, it's kind of messed up when the U.S. messes with the market to the point where no matter what you try to sell, you can't get fair market value for it, and you start losing. But I don't know. I think it's just a unfair way to look at things or to do business. And the reason that I heard that the reason why they did that because at the time they were like, well, if the Haitians revolted and they bought their way out of bondage, what if this travels around to the U.S. and it ended up happening anyway. But at that time, I guess when was the Haitian revolts and they broke away?
No,
It was way before.
Yeah, you're shaking my memory now.
Yeah, no, it was way before Emancipation Proclamation in the United States. It may have been maybe 20 years before, if that, if that.
I know they get some credit when it comes to talking about freedom and independence. Their names is in the conversation on that one.
Yeah, but to look at the extent of what happened, I mean, I don't ever recall Haiti being this great country that was, they were all on top, and other than this is what was said also that the French government was so brutal on the slaves there, the average slave's life was only 6 to 8 years. And they didn't mind going to get another one, because they were producing sugar cane, coffee, and maybe it was tobacco also. It was three products they were distributing all over the world, and they were making a killing through chattel slavery, and the French were, probably why today I think the richest man next to Elon Musk is I forgot his name. French. No, I think this guy's the guy that owns all of the Louis Vuittons and all that stuff, and then Bezos, and then Microsoft guy, something
So
like
it's
that.
no African sounding individual.
No,
About down the line, he on the list, huh?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. It's but then you look at this now. We are talking about just richness or wealth. I would have never thought in my wildest dreams that I would live in a time where you would have thousands of billionaires, billionaires. Now, millionaires, I'm like, yeah, multimillionaires, which was a thing that was always heard of. But
So billionaires, 100 million, right?
no, 999,999 plus one
Is a billionaire. That's a billion.
makes a billion, right?
Oh, okay.
Million. That's forgot the million part. Yeah, 999,999 million plus.
Stick with my hundreds of thousands.
Right.
Then I'll graduate.
Because remember when
eventually.
Oprah Winfrey was the first Black woman billionaire, and she had a billion. She had come upon $1 billion. I mean, Michael Jordan's a billionaire now.
Well, did you know, P. Diddy and, Jay-Z? I was just, again, this is something I just happened to be looking at on the internet
What's that?
about, you're speaking of black billionaires on,
Mhm.
on the black web, you know.
Mhm.
And then as a black family, this gentleman is in Aerosmith out of Texas. He's actually the richest black as far as American.
Mhm.
And like I said, there is an African gentleman who's got something like 20 billion. You know, of course, I mean, with all that oil and stuff, I mean, that pretty much says it all. But as far as Americans, those names come up consistently. Oprah, Michael, and some others. But they're less than 10 billion.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
They're
Wait,
less than 10 billion. But anyway, that's some money.
shoot. You say a bill, you say anything next to $1 billion to me, that's a lot of money.
And Michael's house just sold after
Yeah,
12 years up there on the North Shore.
yeah, he sold it for a discount. He discounted it out. I think it went for 12 million.
Yeah, poor guy.
I know. I think he wanted 25 for it from the
Yeah,
beginning.
that's what it was listed.
I knew someone that worked for the electric company. Back in the day when he was living there, they say he had the highest non-commercial light bill for the state.
Hmm.
In other words,
He,
home bill.
he had every recreational sports thing on it,
I
on
know.
site that you could think of. Entertainment. I mean, they be living large, you know.
Oh yeah.
Don't have to go out for nothing. They don't want to.
Shoot, I was just
But call us what's your thoughts on all this talking about money? Some I would love to hit the lottery and win as soon as I'm able to. I'm gonna go invest $1 tonight when I leave the podcast. See if I can be talked about by next Sunday.
you're gonna be
Steve.
contributing to the pot. That's what
Yeah, you know, I said, y'all know I was here last Sunday. He went out and won that lottery.
Mm-mm. I'm just again, I'm just amazed at the great transformation that's going on in the city of Chicago. At one point, you could stand or look down to Eisenhower and look at the cityscape or where the metropolis area, the buildings were, and you would see cranes and booms. Booms are, if those don't know what a boom is the end of the crane that hangs out over and pulls up the material as they build the skyscrapers. You could see 15 or 20 of them, minimum 10. And I was downtown yesterday and I didn't see any. I'm like, did they complete all of these buildings now? Is the
Along the
boom
river there, you really saw them up
right?
at one point. The new buildings going up.
Right. The other thing is construction goes down when the inflation.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, what's up, guys? How y'all doing, fellas?
What's happening? What's happening?
This Deontay,
What you say,
the
Tay?
doctor brother, man. Man, anytime the money being talked about, I'm always, I'm flying the room when y'all talk about money.
I know this, Craig.
So I was I was off today. I should have came in person in the studio so we could have this conversation. I actually was doing a bit of due diligence, and I know you guys the election and everything is coming up. It's right around the corner. So, I just wanted to I don't know. I'm not sure if you guys have talked about like the the tax plans for each individual, like who does it benefit? I was kind of doing some due diligence on it, listening to it earlier, so I can contribute to the podcast. If you
Right.
guys haven't talked about it, I can kind of share with you some of the things that I learned today.
Sure,
Well,
sure.
come on, Howard, why are you holding it out? Let's go.
All right, cool. So, obviously, you got Trump's tax plans, which he already have in. If some of you guys have already felt the effects of some of the, the taxes that he started, I know they were saying that his tax bill, it actually starts to, some of the stuff is starting to close up now. So basically, he's trying to get in the office. He said he's going to extend, however his taxes is set up right now, government, state, unrealized gain taxes and things like that. So he's already got that, he want to extend that. Now, what I was learning earlier is that the United States national debt budget is so massive that they do not have enough cash, and every time they're paying into that national debt, national debt is how many countries around the world that we owe. So every time they're, basically under this regime, we're paying money to the government that the government then is supposed to be using, to I guess like protect us. I'm not sure if that's the right word with the government. I don't even know what the government is supposed to do. So that's why it's kind of hard for me to find a definition for it. But they were saying that the national debt is far exceeding the pace of military spending. So it's that bad. And basically with them taxes, they say even when they start to add more taxes to us, it's not necessarily going to affect us in a way that it's going to actually pay the national debt down. So that was one thing. So however Trump's tax plan is, he's just going to try to further extend it. Now I know Kamala, her tax plan was to do she's going to give like, I want to say 6,500 in child tax credit, which right now it's about 3,600. Also, she wanted to for people who get Social Security income, they wanted to end the taxes on that, but that was only up to amount like almost like 25,000. Like if you're getting 25,000 or less, then you wouldn't get any more taxes taken out of your thing. Also, both of the candidates, they want to take taxes off of tip workers. Now, when they did the statistic, they said there's almost 9 million tip workers. And I'm pretty sure when we go, for daily coffees and things, you see the tips. So they were saying just taking the tips off of that. But when you look as a whole in the national deficit, that still won't put a dent in there. So that tax plan kind of doesn't affect all of America because there's only 9 million waitresses. And then you got to think like this, even with that tax plan in place, because of AI, it's only so long before that tax plan don't mean anything. So just remember, if you're voting for that, you're voting for a future where some of those taxes, it might not even matter. Even with the 3,600 or the 6,400, I think you want to give per child, that's like for a newborn child. So you would have to have a newborn child. I'm sorry?
Not so right.
Right. So it's also, I know y'all mentioned tariffs earlier. So Donald Trump plan is to tax. Y'all was mentioning how businesses they conduct their business outside of U.S. because it's cheaper for exports and imports and things like that if you're doing business outside of the U.S. So a major brand like I think it was John Deere. Don't quote me on this, but one of these manufacturers like a John Deere, they said that they were going to move their plant over to Mexico because obviously it's cheaper labor in Mexico. So even right now, Trump is saying, no, if you try to take your company, even if it's a US based company, and move it to somewhere like Mexico, he already told them, he said, we're going to put a 200% tariff on you. the thing about tariffs is that's the tax that the foreign people who sending stuff in will have to pay on the goods. So it marks it up cheaper for them. And that's one thing Trump is a proponent of is actually tariffs. Now, I think, well, I ain't gonna tell what I think, but so that's his plan on tariffs. And I want to say that was all I had really learned about it. But honestly, listening to both plans, it really seemed like it doesn't do much for either one. So it's kind of like a wash, if you ask me, only because of the national deficit. When we're spending way more money than we're getting back, even if you study doing all these taxes, and now you're talking about removing taxes, you're not gonna, government spending is gonna be at a low. So they just gonna have to print more money, which I see them probably doing.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
On any monetary system, whether it was in the biblical days or it's today, there's two forms of payment: precious metals, maybe some salt in that time, or gold, or some liquidity like paper, money, and everybody agreed that this is of value, right? So we kind of understand that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, two, if I print money as it was in the earlier days of last century, it would say backed up, this is a note, backed up by supposedly gold, which was a
Standard.
measurement standard in that day. Fort Knox, we saw that old 7 movie, and there it is. So my question is, how do I owe myself? That can apply to any country. If I'm in a position of providing a standard of living per se, that's third point. And I know when you mentioned about Donald Trump's tax plan on capital gains is 21, he took it down to 21% that it will be expiring. And then he's proposing 15%. Now, at one time, the Republicans and all of them was in agreement at 25 to 28%, which is where the current vice president's proposal is being talked about at 25 to 28%. As you indicated, 6,000 or 6,500 for child care, and 25,000 for first time subsidy for a person to purchase a home.
Yeah, for the home buyers.
But now, when it mentions tariffs, of course, under the Biden administration, they're still doing some strategic tariffs now.
So so the thing is, they still have Trump's tariffs in place. So that's the thing, right? Like, his tariffs, obviously, it has done some effect to the economy. And so, I do Forex, I trade and everything. So I literally watch this stuff every day. I'm just getting news reports and feeds about what's going on with the job cycle and everything. So, right, literally inflation is down to 2.5%. The Fed just lowered the interest rate. So in terms of an economy, the next part is them trying to hit the soft landing that they want to hit. And when you look at, so especially during the presidential election, and you're looking at where the economy is at, right now we're at that, that soft landing they was talking about. The Fed ideal is 2% interest. 2% inflation. Right now it's at 2.5% inflation. If you have a bank account and you open up let's say a high yield interest account, the most you should be getting is about 4.9. And some money market accounts is give you like 5% interest. The reason why I mention that is because if you have your money in something like that, you're already beating inflation, at least for this go round, right? And then I think their plans, while they'll be good, one of them, Kamala plans, put all of your dollars that you do get taxed on for everything, it puts them all in the government's hands. Now, again, based upon the way the biggest thing is, I haven't told you all this, is right now we're facing a deficit because our government is sending money overseas. So you got to take that in effect when you talk about, people that can't get stuff done over here. Our government is taking the money we're giving them right now. They're paying it out more overseas than they are to our own military. So obviously that's something to look out for the near future, right? These are just things we go ahead.
I would like to just make a point. There's two ways of growing your GDP or your economy. That is investment in people or investment in a military machine. And as you just indicated, Ukraine and all them other countries. So see, when money goes to create a bomb, that bomb doesn't get the job, and as a result, and bring back taxes for the people pay. So you can't grow
722
and be the military industry.
Right.
But go ahead. So I mean, that's where your investment lies. So like you say, to grow your economy.
But are they giving money away for the military, or are they giving military aid?
Well, the military budget or anything that goes to the military and is not going to people which have human needs. So as a result, that money going to military is not giving you a return.
Yeah, exactly. And
so see,
so and that's exactly what we're facing right now is
right.
the national debt deficit being so high that the amount that they're taxing us, the American people, that them dollars are not even being paid to the national deficit. And again, we are sending out more to other countries than we're paying for our own military. So just like you said, that hurts us. And also when we talk about our own people, you got to understand, as soon as they put that money in our hand, it's going into those small corporations, which is why, I'm a big proponent of money not having no feelings. Money don't know no color. And so it really don't care who you are. As long as you know how to attract it and keep it, you can have it. Like, it's obtainable. So that's why I'm a big proponent of just, looking at what's going on. And even if they lower, the tax thing on the unrealized gains, that's for people that's been holding for like 25 years, things of that nature. So it still only affects a small segment of the world. And everything that they want to do to try to make these corporations change, they're creating tax codes for corporations, so it'll never change, right? So those are some of the things that I looked at, because me personally, I am basing my vote on what the economic outlook is going to be like for the next 5 to 7 years, because I'm only 37, but I'm looking to grow my investments over time, right? So now that for me, I know like inflation is leaving. So what that means is that the Feds just lowered the tax rate. So what that means is more people are going to be in the market looking to buy homes. So you have companies like Lowe's, Home Depot, manufacturing companies like that, wood companies who, their stock is going to start to go up in the next few months, because they're going to keep lowering the rates, the Fed rates, just so that they can keep inflation at that 2.5% mark. And as long as that happens, then, if you're a savvy enough investor, you can take part in what's going on in the economic cycle of the world. I think we just came out of tightening, so now we might be heading to easing, and all this is all economic terms, so I don't expect nobody to know it. But this is a good time. I was telling my brothers now, last year was a great year to get in stocks. Like, they was on so much of a discount. They're still relatively cheap right now, but I've been watching the price on them from the middle of last year to where they at this year, and they've only been rocking and rolling. And historically, historical data shows that anytime the Fed lowered the Fed's fund rate, it makes the market go up. So like right now, um, I've changed my investment strategy, and so I keep an emergency fund. And so my investment strategy is to now put that emergency fund with the S&P 500 because out of like the past 20 years, only 2 times have the S&P went down at the Fed's funds change, but the historical data shows that it go up. So, you know, if you want to outpace inflation, then you have to go with the market. At least that's what I'm learning. So, um, like I said, I'll be making my vote based upon economic policies because it matters to me in the next 4 years what it does for my portfolio.
Well, on the historical patterns, it also indicate under Republican administrations, you have a slowing down of the economy. Recession, and under Democrats, you don't. And I think there was a report here back around the convention on job creation, some like 51 million jobs that was created, 50 of them by Democratic administrations and 1 by Republican administrations. Now, I don't know what the Democrats know or don't know, or Republicans know or don't know, but as they say, numbers or facts are not opinions. That's,
You know, I don't know. I've always looked at that stuff so weird, right? Because the numbers with the economic data, they always come delayed. So it's like you're gonna get August report in September. So all of that stuff is delayed. So you really got to take the numbers with a grain of salt. And like I said, I've been looking all year, and I guarantee you, it's a bunch of times throughout the year where they'll come back and say, "Oh, this error was made," or "This error was made," because you could tell it's all geared towards the markets. The markets have to keep moving. You know, when you mention the GDP, that's why I always try to tell people, like the United States of America is a business, and it's gonna run like a business. It's like, you know, we think that, oh man, the government should care about us or they should do this, but all business owners do what's good for business. And I think the way the economy is going is exactly what you're saying right now, because it's going to slow down. So it's going to appear that, you know, under Biden and things, everything has started to just ease out and correct itself, which it could be, or it could be because of the Fed policy. Like nobody don't know. All I know is when I was doing the due diligence earlier, it said that every president we've had for the last three presidents we had, each one contributed to the national deficit even higher. So no matter what, you know, we think, it's showing that all it's doing is putting us further into debt. And we already know that even if they print more money, it only goes into a select few hands. So that's going to continue to increase the widening gap of the haves and have-nots. And literally, that's what we're facing right now. When you look at the financial data, we're just really spacing out. And like I said, if you're somebody that's watching the markets and you're looking at all these people, now a good thing has come out of this. They're showing that I think the generation after me, all of them are preparing for their retirement. So that's really good. Like I talk to a lot of kids, and I see a lot of them get started into investing early. So, and I think that's great because they obviously learn from what my generation didn't. So if you look at the numbers, you'll see way more of the generation really investing. They already put money in their 401ks. So you got to think about it as an investor, because I'm an investor. So what that means is I can use their dollars to carry my portfolio forward, because they're putting money in IRAs and ETFs and dividend stocks. They're doing this on a consistent basis, you know, a far cry from what we were doing. So as an investor, that's how I got to think, because I know that's what's coming next. And that's how you got to grow your money. So that's how I do it. That's how I make my decision.
we're talking about possibly two individuals, one of them gonna be the next president with a vice president of the United States after the election. They both have what's known as records now. And as you saying, numbers, you know, numbers don't lie, you might say. Now, of course, one have to fact check a lot of that, but you know, the previous president, when you're talking about run up a deficit, he ran up the deficit more than any president of record serving a term, you know.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but you got to think.
I ain't trying to beat up on him, but I'm just saying.
No, but
I look at people's track record.
so
And if I had to stake my bet,
yeah,
off one's track record, having accomplished one thing or another, I'm gonna look at the record. So I wouldn't necessarily say, you know, I wouldn't vote.
so but see, as man, listen, as the leader of the free world, and you see that the world is suddenly thrust into a pandemic, I mean, you might just have the record spending only because you got to make stuff move. Like people, like, see, this is, I think people be what's crazy. Everybody forget that they got a free $600 or whatever, but it never was free. So when everybody was getting this money, nobody was sitting there thinking like, damn, who finna pay for this? But we already know, or we should know, that the American people was gonna pay for it, which we have paid for it. It's an increase in everything. But he had to do it because they was telling people you had to get a shot or lose your job. So you already know, studying finance, that once people leaves in droves, what that means, the spending stopped. Now that the spending stopped, the economy stopped. Now that means all the people who, the big bosses, now they got to start laying people off because I can't afford you because everything has stopped. So because the economy just fully stopped, everything shut down, what you gonna do? You can't stop the American economy. So of course he had to print out way more money than any president had to, because I've been alive 37 years. Ain't nobody on this Zoom ever experienced anything like that in their life, no matter how old you is. You get what I'm saying? So these are unprecedented times.
That's not Howard, that's Deontay.
Oh, Deontay, well, I'm sorry. I would just add this bit of information to what you just say when it comes to job manufacturing. Previous to the pandemic, there was a loss of 200-some thousand manufacturing jobs and a continued fall off of creating new jobs previous to the pandemic. So I'm just saying, we're talking records, and I'm not again beating up. I'm just looking at the records, the information that's out there. As far as if I'm an investor, like you said, I'm gonna look at the record. You know, I ain't gonna listen to the rhetoric, but what are the facts? So
how can you, like, if a manufacturing company take their business out of the US and move it to the Philippines because it's cheaper, how do you, as an official, stop it? The only thing you could do is say, I'm gonna put tariffs on you.
well,
Because
but again, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and I don't say disrespectful, president, vice president, previous presidents have used tariffs, and like I said, as a strategic financial decision when it comes to the economy and jobs and manufacturing. So I'm not talking as if Donald Trump is the only one that's ever done it, and Joe Biden, okay? Previous presidents have done it as well, but they've been used, whether they know about it or not, or they advise once they know about it to go forth with tariffs and why. They of course have to explain that and the impact on the economy and jobs. But go ahead.
Yeah. So no, that's why I believe, that's what I'm saying. I like again, when I make my decision at the polls, it'll just be based upon the economy. So I'm just sharing that tidbit and the stuff that I learned earlier. So like I said, I wanted to just read about it. because that's really what I care about. You know, I got a daughter that's in college, so it's like my opportunity to grow my funds is now. Like when you're looking at some of these stocks, they are up 120%. They're up 60%. If you're somebody that, you know, put your money in a bank and you're just stashing it away, then that's great because the interest rates was high. But this is definitely the time, and it still is the time to look at some of those companies, how they'll be shaped, move forward. Again, I talk, you know, AI, crazy. It is big. Look into, you know, those companies again that help with the you know, building of homes and things like that. The Home Depots, the Lowe's, and like, you know, those companies, like these things, because the market is cyclical. So the market goes through cycles. You know, obviously in the summertime, a lot of houses get sold. During the wintertime, you might, well, I guess through the fall time, they'll start trying to build them. So you just pay attention to what cycle we in the market. And then, you know, just you want to take advantage of that. Obviously, we got Christmas and things coming up. I'm a big fan of Apple. So I always said I'm taking Apple to the grave with me. I'll probably get that to my kids because Apple ain't going nowhere. You know, I do dollar cost averaging. I just started. So I know I want to be, you know, it's like I started doing like the dividends and stuff. I never was like I get dividends, so I know what they is, but you know, now I'm starting to like invest towards that. So that's why I say it was important for me to learn what their economics is and how it affect the American tax-paying dollar. You know, so you can just see what's the best benefit, especially being, you know, a business owner and investor. So
All right, my brother, I just wanted to, you know, engage you and, you know, what beat up
but-
on you.
There's one thing, you know, I know you want to follow whatever policies are in effect right now,
right.
but who's to say that these policies won't even be better with the change of a different person?
Yeah,
know?
I mean, I think that's the only thing, right? Because you given a small sample size, like when a president comes in and they interact their policies, you really can't, you know, it take years of data to see how it actually affected it later. So I'm not saying that they would or won't. I'm just what sounds best for me, because again, you got one policy that's going to give the government, that's your money is going to go to the government, right? So you got to figure out, is this the policy where I want to give government control of my money and let them spend it however they're going to spend it? I just don't like, they're already doing with whatever they're doing with the money, and we see what they're doing. They're sending it out. So, and you're saying how we're gonna be affected, and even I think they both have their thing on the immigration. Oh, you know, I seen some. I don't know if y'all brought it up, but I seen something. It was saying something about like some migrants came in, and I want to say less than two years or something. They purchased their first home. I was like, this is crazy, you know,
Yeah,
because in the grand.
it was in 18 months.
Oh, there you go. That's when I seen that. I said, okay, see, it's getting spooky out here because somebody gave these people this money, right? And if you're American and you're asking who gave that money, you know it was your government. So, in a sense, you got to look and say, okay, where has my money already been spent by the government? And then you got to ask yourself if you okay with what's been currently going on, because that's really the question, right? We see. I seen something, they said the Venezuelan gangs is fighting with the Chicago gangs. I said, oh man, we can't have this. It's crazy. That's anarchy. There.
Well, we're a gang nation.
Yeah.
We've always been since Billy the Kid.
Yeah.
Since you know, all of them guys, you know.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. But yeah, no, it ain't no
The
it
reason it's
really
like that because everybody becomes disenfranchised from their original state. And now they feel that they got to come and consolidate or align themselves with something that supposedly is going to help them. And hence the game. I mean,
man.
I'll never forget, I was in a place called Linz, Austria, 2004. And there was a party going on. I'm sitting in the hallway while this big party's going. And these Austrian guys walked up to me. Hey, my friend, where you from? And I said, Chicago. They said, aha, Al Capone, right? I'm like, oh, Al Capone ain't been in Chicago over 100 years, man. At least 70, you know? And I'm like, this everybody sees America, especially Chicago, as a gang city. But I'm just saying that because again, people have when they're disenfranchised and they're segregated and separate, they go to, align themselves with people they feel that's going to give them some.
Well, let me ask Steve.
Mhm.
Are they aligning themselves with disenfranchised people, or
No, not with disenfranchised people. They become disenfranchised from where they came from. You see what I'm saying?
So they're coming from a disenfranchised place, and the government is putting them in another disenfranchised place. Yeah, if you're taking migrants and you put in migrants on the south side of Chicago and the west side of Chicago, where the crime rate is high, you got food deserts. Why would they? That's like I don't understand. Like the Democrats, like why would you bring these people over here without a plan? They don't got a plan for the. Well, they do got a plan for them. Let me take that back. Giving them anything they want, you know what I'm saying? They do got a plan for them, but it's like I don't know. I just feel like that's a slap in the face. It's like that's why I'd be like weirded out. Like, how could someone see and complain about something and then vote for the same people? Because it definitely wasn't the Republicans. And I hate to make this a left versus right thing, red versus blue thing, but that's just what it just come down to. And so it's like, why don't they just put these people in rich neighborhoods? Put them over there. I'm pretty sure they'll turn out better.
That's Mosaic.
Oh, that Mosaic. Let me ask you.
Yeah.
I live outside of Chicago. Talking about immigrants. I was in a community known as Galesburg, Illinois.
All right.
I'm gonna get to my point. I lived in that community because I was working on the railroad down there for 14 years. They brought in, and it was Republican administrations at the time for governor in Illinois, and then as president of the United States. It's always been immigration. And like I say, when individuals born and raised here don't want to do certain jobs or whatever, they have to get some people who want to work from somewhere and make a way. So,
and what was the work they were doing?
They were doing anything they could do, like they doing here.
Like, can you give me an example of the work that they wanted to do that we don't want to do?
Both of them do it. That's all my point I'm making.
Right, but hold on, wait a minute. What jobs were they doing because you're talking about my people, so I'm getting a little offended. What jobs that my people, you saying my black lazy people didn't want to do that these immigrants wanted to do?
76 through 74 through 86. And I'm just telling you, because coming out of Chicago, I had a lot of questions. Just, hey, I was in a different culture or environment. So I had some questions. I was nice enough to be respectful to ask what you're doing and, where you're from. And again, I had individuals who worked for me that was other nationalities. So I had a lot of questions. But when I hear you say as if it's only Democrats, that's not true. It's like I say, demand drives the marketplace for work, for product, and pricing. So you name it. I mean, it ain't a just Democrats problem. This immigration situation ain't just started.
Right, but you just said that they brought people in
I
to
didn't say
fulfill. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. You said some Republicans. Let's break this down. So
I never
this is what we don't see. This is what we don't do as Black people. We talk, but we don't break down and comprehend what we're saying to each other. So I'm just trying to clarify what jobs that you saying that my Black people did not want to do that these immigrants were willing to do. You just gave me empirical evidence.
No, what I'm saying is, and I gave you via the context of what I was discussing. I was in another part of Illinois, working on as a manager of the railroad, and had employees who are farmers, who own businesses, who, even though they work for me during the day, they probably, their family managed their business or their farm or other interests at any other time other than the time we work. I went with these people to their house, sat around with them and got to know them because we worked together, and we gave stories about where we're from, how we get to where we're from, and to where we end up working together there. So in that conversation, I asked, well, what jobs, since your parents are in farming, are you looking for? Whether it was dairy farming or just farming in general on the farm, or they own mechanic shops. They were looking for individuals to do work, but mind you, there wasn't many Black folks, and there was a small population, but nonetheless, I mean, we could be counted, but it wasn't a lot in comparison to say my Black people didn't want them jobs or not. I'm just going off.
Right, that's what you said, though.
No, I didn't say that. I just
said
jobs that was conveyed to me that people were not wanting to work. I didn't say whether it was white or Black. I just used the word people. But go ahead with your point.
Okay, so all right, cool. So we don't have any evidence for that, what you just said. So I'll just keep it like this. If I have anything that have to do with farming, of course I'm gonna bring in some agrarian people who's versed in agriculture. So I'm gonna bring over Hispanics from Mexico because they're good at farming. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm not gonna like, if I'm a coach, I'm not gonna go look for the Mexicans and the Asians. I'm gonna look for the Black boys and the white boys. The white boys shoot the threes. The Black boys, they shoot a couple threes. They do some dunking. They're more athletic. I'm gonna pick what's best fitted. So, and Black Americans, we are not an agrarian culture. We're not like that. So you're right. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna do certain jobs because that's just not what we do. We're not an agrarian culture.
Used to be.
Yeah, no, we used to, but we far from that. We too educated now. So we let the other people go do avocados and work for 20 cents.
Are we really that educated? Because
we are that educated. Now, if you don't want to educate yourself, that's on you. But this is the age of information. We know more about the world than we're the most educated group.
Really?
In Black American history, this is the most educated group.
No, I thought you were saying we were more educated than out of the populace that we have right now.
Oh no, I'm just saying. No, black history. We the most educated out in Black history. Oh no, definitely. We at the bottom of the totem pole as far as education. But again, 11 million migrants here. They taking over. I mean, nobody should be voting for people that's bringing in people and getting people houses and jobs, and you had to go through hell and the public aid, it's men out here who got bad jobs who can't get good public aid, but you'll give a male Venezuelan $400-500. Like, I'm sorry, you just shouldn't vote for those type of people.
but the choice that we have is not that good.
I mean, if you don't read, then yeah, they're not that good. But if you read the things that Trump did, I mean, and what has Kamala did? She ain't did nothing. She's been the vice president for 4 years. So what you think gonna change when she get in office? Nothing. She gonna keep catering to them people, and she gonna get them people to keep voting for her.
What vice president did a president's job? You know,
Right.
and
Pence,
I'm just saying, Democrat or
Mike
Republican.
Pence, Mike
Trump.
Pence, Trump's Mike Pence. Mike Pence did a whole lot.
Yes.
So I mean, you gotta understand. You know, we can list off Michelle Obama credentials and things she did and organizations she worked for. Then Kamala, you don't know what Kamala did.
No,
You don't know what Kamala. We just want to hire her because she got a little black look to her, which is like, come on, bro. We smarter than that.
do you know of any vice president?
I just said Mike Pence.
Mike Pence, okay. He did George Bush's job. No, he did Trump's job, in other words. That's what you're telling me now.
He helped.
No, I ain't asked you about helping. I'm just saying they both have responsibility.
You can't fully do his job.
Title of their position.
No, you can't fully do his. He can't fully do the presidential's job. You know what I'm saying? If I'm helping my mama cook,
That's it.
that's impossible. But what I'm saying is the person you voting for hasn't shown you nothing. She ain't shown you nothing, and you willing to vote for. But I get it though. See, y'all in line with the Democrats, so y'all ain't got no choice but to vote for.
I got you, Mose.
You got a lot of choices.
No,
But
y'all,
but it's just
y'all can't.
it's just
y'all
none
can't
being
vote.
it's none being presented from the other side.
I just asked the question, that's all. I mean, under the Constitution, the job, duties are spelled out. And you made a statement that as if the vice president, who's not elected as president, but vice president, is to do the president's job.
I never said that. That's impossible.
And I just say,
I mean, it ain't nothing wrong with doing a little research. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing doing with it. Don't be scared of the white man. He ain't gonna bite you. You know, it's okay for you to vote for him. Your ancestors was Republican. You know what I'm saying? Your ancestors was Republican. So it's like it ain't a stretch for you to be Republican.
Yeah, but they made
you better than your aunt. You better.
They made a
so
big
you
mistake
better than the
with that, though.
ancestors.
They made a big mistake with that. That was the problem.
Nah, them people was educated, Steve.
Yeah, it wasn't enough because they did not understand what they were doing. I
Look
mean,
what we going through now.
The other part of it, what else were they going to get offered? Nothing.
Yeah, because the Democrats wasn't offering nothing.
Right. The Southern Dixiecrats.
Who freed the slaves, Steve? The Republican. It was a Republican man that got you free right now.
Yeah.
To your point, the Republicans freed the slaves, as you say, Lincoln.
I'm glad you agree with me. I'm glad you didn't argue me down.
You are right, Mose. We ain't debating. That's a fact.
Come on now. So that's all I'm saying. They ain't that bad. And then now, Steve, you always say, well, Trump, he did this with the Central Park Five, but guess what? The mayor was the Democrat. There was a Democratic mayor at the time, and he said, "Yeah, prosecute them." He said, "Prosecute them." Now we all know if the mayor of a city say do this, all of the Democrats gonna follow. For the most part, the Democrats gonna fall in line with what the mayor is saying. So, and Trump was Democrat at that time. So when we talk about Trump blaming the white people, saying that about Central Park Five, the Democrats was the one in favor of prosecuting those black men, knowing that they was innocent.
Who knew they were innocent? Trump knew they were innocent. He just doubled down. That's what I
No,
see.
What I'm saying is Trump, the Democrats put those men in jail. The mayor at the time was a Democrat. He spoke out about it.
The mayor
and
was
he
not,
said,
the mayor was not the prosecutor, nor was the mayor the
yeah,
judge.
but if Brandon Johnson wants something to happen, he got the power to make it happen. He got the power. Ain't no aldermans or nobody who's associated with Brandon gonna go against what Brandon. Hey, y'all, Brandon said this. Y'all might want to stay. Y'all want to stay on code. You ain't gonna go against Brandon. You bet not. You bet not. You bet not. That dark skinned man with that mohawk gonna come see you. Oh, what you say? Oh man. So what I'm saying is that mayor prosecuted. That mayor prosecuted. Helped prosecute them black men. I'm just giving y'all facts. That's all.
It's not that cut and dry.
All right, Mose, let's give these other callers a chance to chime in.
Oh, they scared to talk.
All right, callers, come on now. Mose woke me up, so I just had a little chit chat with him. And matter of fact, I agree with him. You heard that, Steve? I agree with Mosaic tonight.
I gotta see what you drinking.
Oh no, it ain't that bad.
Well,
The way you get a letter from DeAndre, he wasn't here tonight, so whenever he's absent, he must.
Yeah, he usually send a link, and that's why I'm like, I forgot. I'm like, hold on, I got the link in my text messages.
Tell him we love him and we miss him.
He right here. He hear you.
Oh, okay. He in a place to be.
He right there.
yeah, my bad. I thought I was gonna be able to jump on, but you know, and to continue my healthy journey, I actually had to go meal prepping and shopping. So it took way more time than I expected. So I thought I was gonna be able to log in and be more a part of the show. But you know, starting in October, I'm going down to a 1,500 calorie, 200 plus gram protein diet. So I had to go buy a lot of meat.
Meat. You what you went to Pete's Market on Lakewood?
Nah, I went to over in Oak Park. It's called Wild Fork. They got some nice cuts of meat down that way. So
where's it at?
Oh man, you supposed to shop black, man.
Harlem and Lake, Wild Fork. I tried to, man. We ain't got no black meat markets, man. That's a business opportunity.
Oh, dude, we ain't got none. That's sad, man. We ain't got no meat market.
Well, you gotta have some good supply chain options. I guess that would be the key. You would need a good farm.
Yeah, because Leamington's got bad meat. I gotta put them out there. I bought some meat from Leamington's. I was sick as a dog.
Where'd you do that?
During COVID. There was that COVID meat.
Nah.
It was vaccinated.
Well, that's a while ago. They do have better options now.
Yeah, that was Leamington, y'all.
I'm not saying that may be one of them, but I'm just saying.
And then Tony's, not Tony's, Food for Less on North Avenue. Sometimes they meat be, people pick the meat up, shop. They don't want the food. They leave the cart. The meat sit out the freezer. Then it get thrown back, and it's kind of so. It's like,
how do we get meat?
Oh, Dre is talking about his diet.
Can we go back to Trump and just a little bit?
Go ahead, Tiny.
And the thing about Trump, he says some great things, but he's a liar.
Yeah, Biden too.
Whatever he say, don't mean he'll do. He's not a politician.
What is he lying about?
Trump is a salesman. He's not a politician. And he using sales psychology to give the people what they want. He say what they want to hear. And he'll promise them anything, but he won't deliver. And Trump came out, people say Trump's a racist, then people say, no, he's not a racist, but he was a racist when his father's company wouldn't let black people rent from him, and the government put up a case against them. And then this guy named Cohen, who was with McCarthy, the guy that called people communists, and when he lose, he'll say he won. And he taught Trump that. Trump will never admit that he lost. He will always say that he won. And so when they talk about tariffs, the people, the companies are going to just add on to the people. That's just making us pay more for goods and stuff, you know? So like, you can't believe what he says. That's the main thing. And he loves
I remember he
dictators.
said he's gonna build a wall and make Mexico pay for it.
So he want to do it with
Well, I mean,
the Constitution.
so what you just said about building the wall, even Kamala hopped in and said she was gonna finish doing the wall after she previously said she wouldn't do it. And so she also during that debate, and I forgot what it was, but it was something that she said, damn, I can't think of what it is, but it was something she said she wasn't in support of, that at the debate she was in support of. And so when you talk about
fracking,
you know,
that
okay,
was
fracking, yeah, absolutely. And then you know what Trump said? I just watched it earlier. Trump said, "We gonna drill, baby. We gonna drill." So Trump telling you, and so when you say, well, he lying, how? When he told you what he was gonna do in your face, you got one candidate. No, hold on now. You got one candidate.
He said,
One at a time, please.
But you got one candidate saying how she wasn't gonna drill, but now she's saying she is gonna drill. You know why? Because when they sit down and they see economically what it means for the US based upon what Trump is saying, you know, when you say, well, again, what you want, what's better for the US or what's better for you or whatever the case may be. And that's why I keep saying what's better for the US is the dollars, is the national deficit, is being able to pay this money off. So if you saying you want a lying con man, it seems like the person that's going back and forth waffling on their ideas, you will want somebody a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more solid that's going to do what they say. Now, lying aside, every politician and even businessman gonna always try to overpromise something. I don't care how you feel about it. Like, I'm a businessman. If somebody get in one of my vehicles, I'm gonna tell them it's gonna take them to the moon and back. Now, is that a lie? Is that a lie because this is what the experience that they got from me as a salesman? No. I set your expectations. This is what a businessman does. And this is what Trump does. So when you say, oh, people at his rally going crazy because he's setting expectations. And again, we got one policy that's in right now that said they was going to get rid of the whole student loan thing. They still going back and forth and waffling on that. So you're like, well, one person lying and one person not. I mean, we had 4 years of somebody saying one thing and doing another. I don't know.
well, and let me say this about the walls. They're putting up a wall. They don't use walls anymore. They use tunnels. They're not coming through the wall. They're coming underground. So talking about building a wall, that's outdated.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
why Kamala is saying that she would continue with it then? Y'all tell me that.
Because
we
that's
don't know that to be true. I don't remember that.
But they got on the table.
Yeah, she just said that.
She's gonna continue what? Build
the wall. She just said that. She's on video saying that.
That ain't a good idea.
That's y'all peoples.
Okay.
But see, that's what I'm saying. So y'all are in support of somebody saying one thing, but when they get down to it, then they switching it up.
I'm in support of somebody. I'm in support of somebody that's gonna be better than the man that didn't do a good job when he got fired.
So she gonna frack. He gonna frack. He gonna build a wall. She gonna build a wall. You might as well vote for the man.
We ain't doing no wall. because that ain't gonna work. Now fracking, whatever.
But Steve, this is what she's saying. You can't say what you ain't gonna do when your president is saying what you is finna do. So I'm
Yeah,
just
you
saying,
gonna
let's be
do it.
honest. Let's stop talking
I guarantee
crazy
you,
about what we ain't gonna allow.
I can
Come
guarantee
on,
you,
man.
down
Come on,
to
Steve.
donuts, that they ain't building a wall.
Steve, the reason why they would
You just
do
hear the
it,
man tell you what you building the wall for when they going underneath. Did she say-
Everybody
did
ain't
she
going
say the-
underneath.
Did she say the wall was gonna go down underneath too? Is that what's going on?
Don't build an elevator.
man, all I know is
Build
we
an
don't-
elevator, huh? Underneath the wall.
Oh, man.
But I mean,
Carlos.
And what about climate change? What about climate change? The United States and the world is on fire.
Yeah,
You ain't
but
lying.
China,
What
but
about
you think, do
climate
you think,
change?
yeah, but we worry about China, but China ain't finna stop doing it. India ain't finna stop doing it. Man, we got to get this money, and all of us gonna be dead before we even see climate change. So there ain't nothing we need to worry about. That's for our kids to worry about.
It's happening.
say don't worry. You
It's
say
happening now.
let
Yeah, let our
do
kids
your
worry about
worries,
that.
right?
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, when we all dead gone, Steve, we ain't gonna worry about nothing that's going on.
Everybody gonna be dead and gone. Steve and I gonna be, and DeAndre gonna still be doing our podcast.
But you see, that's why I say that's why I look at the candidates the way I look at them, because you're not lying about none of these things that's going on, but somebody who's aware of it, you got to see how it makes sense for you financially, because you live in America, America is a business. That's it.
It's a capitalistic society.
Yeah, so you got to prepare, and it's on you. You know, when you have kids, it's your responsibility to prepare for what's coming. So if you know climate change is coming, it's on you to prepare for it. That's it.
It's here.
And we all know somebody in our family who need a place to stay, and we like, we ain't letting that nigga in. So why we get mad at Trump doing it? It's everybody got a family member that asked them to stay with them, and somebody said no. If you ain't black. If nobody ever asked you to stay with you and you told them no, but we gonna get mad at Trump for telling the nigga no.
Wait a minute, who he told that? I don't get what you're saying.
No. Tiny said that Trump didn't let somebody in his building. He was being racist because he didn't let somebody in his building. But what I'm saying is, I know you ain't black if you ain't never had a family member ask to come stay with you when you definitely had the room.
You know that's a little different.
You
No,
know,
it's the same thing.
Because of his money.
If you ain't willing to help your own family member, don't
you
expect Trump to
generalize.
helping.
You generalize.
I have
That's
enough
a general
information.
statement.
I have enough information to generalize. That's why.
No, you taking one example, throwing another example in it when it's unrelated.
So have you ever had somebody ask to stay with you?
I have a lot of people ask to stay with me, and I
did you
love
tell
them.
them no?
No, I haven't said no yet.
Oh, well, see, you different. You see, you. What
Right,
about you,
so
Steve?
That's why I say you generalize them, because I don't think all black people do that.
I'm going with what the law say. If the law say you ain't supposed to do it, then you ain't supposed to do it.
Right, and I do know he did turn back a lot of black people who were looking for a place to stay in his apartment, and they had the means to pay for it. It was only because they were black.
Yeah, black people do it too.
Oh, I didn't say that. I ain't talking about us. We talking about Trump and what he did.
Yeah, but I gotta hold us accountable.
Let's keep that on another level. Right now, we talking about Trump and how he discriminated against black people.
That's the great white hope. Y'all leave that man alone.
Well, that's your great white hope, but he ain't mine.
He's the great white dope. That's what he is. He's a dope as they get. You know what's gonna be the end of him?
And he won't.
Constitutionally, he be done after this. We ain't gotta hear his mouth. We ain't gotta see his face.
No, see, come on, y'all want to change the Constitution?
It's wild that y'all.
Yeah, that's right. He got to follow up on his sentencing.
Jose, you raised the bail money and jail, planning jail time to go visit him.
Oh yeah, hey, there's nothing in the Constitution that say he can't run from a jail cell.
No, but I'm saying after he lose this time, I mean, he'll be in jail.
Oh, y'all ain't seen the polls. Kamala losing badly. Y'all ain't seen the polls. She is losing bad.
Well, like I say, time will tell. Now, November the 5th is approaching, so we all gotta know about that poll.
It's a lot of women out here that like, nah, Kamala ain't really, you know, she ain't like my grandmama. She ain't like my auntie. A lot of people waking up like, nah, I'm not finna vote for her.
But at the end of the day,
Yeah,
like I said, constitutionally, Trump can't be nowhere near the White House. Even looking at it, thinking that he can go in there and do another January 6th, you know, it ain't gonna happen. He's be too old. He old. He the old man now. Don't you know that?
And if he
Yeah, he
if
know.
he win, he can't go to Great Britain because they don't let offenders go there. He can't go to Australia, and and they can't go to Japan, and I don't know
nobody want to go there.
Huh?
Nobody want to go there.
They let criminals come there.
Nah, I'm just saying. I don't think nobody wants to go to Great Britain or Australia. You seen the spiders out there? I don't think nobody rushing to go to Australia or Great Britain. They got bad weather.
Oh,
but I hear you though.
I'm just saying, and I don't know what other countries can go to. But because of his conviction, it's a lot of countries he can't go to.
Well, I don't think a felon can lead the country anyway.
It's getting that time, family. We got to wrap it up.
Yeah, y'all.
We've had a live mosaic. Woke me up.
You know, I'm coming through, man. I'm coming through with the coming throughs.
Hey, Mosaic, you could have formed your company today. LLC, Reuters, and Dr. Reuters.
Oh, yeah. We can get it cracking.
All right.
I'll be a little shareholder.
See,
hey y'all,
that's a job that created.
Let's round it up, round it out.
Wrap it up.
What y'all got for me? Who we got at the top of the hour? Tiny, what you got? In conclusion.
Well, hey, it was a good conversation. And I'm just glad to be a part of it, be around like-minded people.
Absolutely. But you know what? I gotta say this one thing. You know, I know everybody, well, I ain't gonna say everybody, but those individuals that's believing in Donald Trump, they've totally forgotten that he's gonna put the law and order back on Black people. And then when something happens, we know who to blame. It will be clear and concise. All right. Mosaic, did you come up with, you had something?
Yeah, just read, and if you're gonna vote, make sure you voting for somebody that's gonna do something for you. Don't just vote because they cook greens in a bathtub and they say, "Hey, brothers and sisters, like, find out what's her policy. Like, read an article. I know it's hard to read, but read and comprehend. If you need me to help you read, I will help you read. But don't just vote for somebody because she can cook collard greens in the bathtub."
I like the way that Black people now, all they know is the word policy. They ain't never even heard or attempted to utilize that word in a sentence when it came to
Hey, we getting smarter. I told you we the smartest generation.
Pennies, nickels, and dimes and quarters and dollars together. That's policy.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Hey, what you got to say, Dr. Reuters?
DeAndre, you got your letter?
Yeah. He was there.
My bad, y'all. My bad. I'm putting the food away. So I wanted to say this. So yesterday I went to the adult prom. So young lady from the Austin community. I know she lives in Oak Park right now, but she still does her best to give back to Austin. So yesterday I went to the adult prom. It's her 4th annual one. She does them every year. This year, she was able to bless. It's called Hope Excel CDC, right there on Chicago Avenue in Cicero. They got a nice little community hub that they created, if you will. They got a church, they have a school, and they have a wellness operation where young men especially can go in and get therapy services. So it's right there on Chicago Avenue and Cicero, 4800 block. And yesterday, she was able to bless them with $2,500 after she did the fundraiser. So it was dope being able to be a part of that. And she's gonna continue doing those. I don't know if she's gonna continue to aim on Austin. Last year, actually, the recipient was a house in Austin. And I know Raheem know them well because that's where they do some of their work with Welcome to Fatherhood and also help men get therapeutic services, but and also parenting classes and all type of stuff. So either way, went there, had a good event. One of the sponsors, no, not sponsors, sorry, honorees, because she also find people from the local community that's doing some good work, was brother by the name of Jackie Hoffman. I don't know if y'all have seen him, but he started Peace Runner 773.
Jackie Hawk.
Jackie Turner.
And the like.
Yeah, Jackie Hoffman. He started Peace Runners 773. And so it's a running based organization over here on the west side of Chicago. And Mary Gardner actually is a part of them. And she do a lot of her work.
Yeah, I
say
know.
all that. Yeah, I wanted to tie all that into the health thing, man. You know, as he was sharing his mother's story about her overcoming her health related issues through just activity, which is the reason why he started his organization. You know, it just, you know, reiterated the work that I'm doing with the weight loss that I have, and now, you know, trying to up it even more with dieting. So for all y'all listening, man, get your health together, man. And all you gotta do is walk. That's all you gotta do to start. Just walk. Just walk.
Start with a
You
walk.
know, but if you need help beyond that, if you need help beyond that, you know, you got brothers like Dr. Hafiz Arnold, who knows, you know, he out there in the garden and do greening. Myself, I'll be at the gym. I do a lot of walking daily, but either way, man, you know, stay in good health. You know, if you can't do nothing else, get out there and walk, y'all. And that's it for me.
Hey, DeAndre,
Yes, sir.
Google those nightshade vegetables.
Say it again.
Google nightshade vegetables.
Nightshade best. Okay, I got you.
Nightshade.
Nightshade. All right.
One thing I did want to say was I want to give condolences to Miss Julia Towns. She's a member of Northwest Austin Council, definitely a member of Peacemakers Coalition. Her husband passed away, Mr. Towns, Mr. Frank Towns. He passed away last week. And we want to give our condolences out to her and her family. Miss Towns been around a long time. She was involved with Mid-Austin Steering Committee when they were back, you know, enrolling back in the day. And, you know, hey, people pushing through, y'all. People pushing through.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. All right, we got one more. Ella, you got anything in conclusion? Did I get you?
No, I don't have anything else to say. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the financial piece that the young man was giving, because I'm not a mathematician, I'm not a financer, but some of the stuff he said, I can look it up and make some sense out of it. Thank you for the information.
Well, he's following the trends. He's definitely, if he's following those trends, he should have a good insight on it.
So next week, can we talk about the Electoral College?
Most definitely, because I don't think many people understand it.
Right.
Oh, real quick,
Definitely
you know
don't
what? Yeah, I
understand.
think we should touch on that. I will say this though, they did reach back out to me from the campaign G2s. So there should be a sure thing that we'll have him on. So if that's still the case, then we'll be talking about the elected school board piece, because that's upcoming with the rest of these elections in November. And if he doesn't, then obviously we shift gears and we can make it happen. But I just wanted to say that I did hear back from them.
Okay. Like a plan, like a plan. Tamika, you got anything in conclusion?
Yeah, I also enjoyed the program, but what I'm hearing about the different strategies of the political parties, and he's right. We need to read and make our own decisions and be educate ourselves, because nobody else can really do it for you.
Right.
So that's all I have to add. Thank you.
I agree. I agree to that one. All right, Arnold, what you got?
Oh, I just want to say thank everybody for their participation in the discussion tonight. For the upcoming events, contact Congressman Davis, 7th District People's Assembly. They're going to be visiting Milwaukee, Wisconsin next Saturday. For information, if you want to ride on the bus to do some door knocking or phone banking or whatever activities one care to get involved, voter registration and education. So I leave you the number briefly is 773-533-9940.
Repeat that one more time.
Come on, 773-533-9940. If you would like to go on the bus to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to get people registered to vote or talk about voting with Congressman Davis, to do some canvassing.
There you go.
And that's about it for me. And we'll be convening our first meeting for the coalition starting next month, the last Saturday of last Sunday of next month. You get that, Tiny?
I got you.
Okay.
Oh.
Which will be the 27th of October.
Okay.
All right.
And DeAndre, what's happening with the Rotary?
Well, I keep meaning to send out I'm gonna send out a next tomorrow. I'm gonna send out an email for our a meeting on Monday, upcoming this next Monday. And it's basically gonna be a check-in. At this point, we still waiting on folks to get their 15 in. We probably got about a handful of folks left, so I'm gonna be on them. But otherwise, we still in motion. We just waiting on everybody to get their initiation fee in.
Okay, so how many do you need?
We needed 20. In order, the 20 members are the chartering members. So I think we need about anywhere from 5 to 7. I have to check, but I'm gonna check tomorrow when I send that email out. I'm gonna say, hey, here's the people that have yet to put their 15 in.
Okay.
Yeah. But then we'll do a meeting Monday. I did send out a email a couple weeks ago about updates though.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right, Jim.
All right, then. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on today. It's one of those days, but we definitely we're going to dive into a little bit more politics, but we're going to look at it, the Electoral College, and like DeAndre said, the new elected school board next weekend. You want to take us out, D?
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. All right, y'all. Y'all know how we do between the hours of 6 and 8 on the Sunday. We bring you the Northwest Austin Council. You know, West Side folks talking West Side things. There's various ways you can interact with the show: the Facebook, the YouTube, or the Zoom. You really choose the option that's best for you. If you're on the Facebook or the YouTube, you just type yourself in your comment in the comment section. We see it, bring it on the screen. We interact with you that way. If you're in the Zoom, you write in the show, you just come off mute, speak your speech, keep it discreet, you know, and keep it respectful, unless we have to mutual boot you. Otherwise, with the new setup, we like to say we got open seats at the table. We just trying to welcome y'all on home. Thank y'all for allowing us to welcome you to Northwest Austin Council.
Council.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Yeah.
Bye.
God bless everybody.
All right.
Okay.
Take it easy. Hello. Say what? Oh, I'm right here. Hold on. Mm-mm.